By that, I mean, God is so good at time management that once you give your time to him, he can take whatever you have left if you dedicate it back to him and make what's left more valuable than what you wasted.
Listen, I'll put some fire emojis in the chat if you're watching this, because this is like straight fire. Mignon, you know, I'll tell you this. Okay, let me say one thing first and I'll get to this, because there's so many things. I've heard you say that, and you mentioned, you referenced a book before. I listened on another podcast. You talked about those ideas that God gives us, and that sometimes we may see them somewhere else and say, wow, I had that idea, I had that thought, I had that business in mind, and I didn't take action. And you mentioned is this concept, and I can't remember what you said, how you said it, but that if we don't take action, God actually will give that and give it to someone else who has stored it better. Kind of talk to us about that.
Yeah, so it goes back down to what I just said. It's God who gives you the desires of your heart. So when the Bible verse says God gives us the desires of our heart, we think that means he grants us whatever we want. But that's not what it's saying. It's saying God tells you what the desires of your heart are going to be.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, it's like, you know, a tap on your shoulder. Hey, I've got this idea that I want to collaborate with you on. Are you willing to do it with me? And you listen. Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. I'll talk to you about that later, another time. No, I'm not interested. Not me. Like Moses, I stutter. What am I supposed to say? And God said, didn't I create you? Don't I know who I'm asking? And so we are asked to go in collaboration with God on a journey somewhere, and we have the right to say yes and we have the right to say no. But if you say no, you better not get mad when you see somebody else doing your idea. I had the idea for Uber. I didn't know I didn't know anything about. So I had this idea for Uber for kids. And Uber came up with an idea that they did called Shuttle. And it was Uber for kids to get them back and forth to their appointments, their practices and stuff like that. They piloted it in a couple of cities, but they couldn't figure out. I think it was because children, you know, are such, you know, a thing that we want to hold safe. There's probably all kinds of reasons why it didn't end up happening, but I had this idea for that. And then when I saw it happen, I was like, oh my gosh, I had that idea. But I didn't know about technology. I didn't know tech, you know, and I didn't know platform. But like, you don't have to know all of the things for you to start on something and for God to give you education as you're growing with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, to your point, what we don't know is usually what makes us say, oh, well, I can't do that because I don't have this. But you have the most important ingredient. You have the spark of that idea that no one else has at that point, right? And so that's the amazing thing about how God does things for us.
Yeah, and all you have to do is follow up, follow through, and finish, or fail. If you don't do 1, 2, or 3, then 4 happens. But if you follow up, follow through, and finish, you get success. But if you don't follow up, follow through, and finish, you're gonna fail.
That's right. That's right.
So you just have to have the 1 that leads you to 2, which gets you to 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Mignon, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the podcast personally and for my listeners and viewers is that as I listen to you, faith just comes out in everything you say. And it is clear you believe God. Like you believe God.
Well, thank you so much.
And I have this theory that faith is contagious, right? Like it's contagious when you get around people who believe God for big things. You kind of just say, well, why can't I believe God for big things? Were there times when you had to surround yourself with other people who believed even beyond where you were in terms of your faith journey?
Even today, I believe we are the sum total of the 5 people that we hang around with. And you can only be whatever you can see.